So the last time we spoke about the third national car project, alright, it was about Alam Perkasa's plans for it. But now we know that DreamEDGE actually won the tender. I was at their PC and I walked away very confused because there were no details beyond just a few deadlines and that it might be a sedan which they are building, which is weird because it's what the market isn't going for. We're going towards the SUVs. Now, what's your gut feeling on their capabilities?
Oh, that's a complicated question. Like you said, last time we were here, we were talking about the detailed proposal laid out by Alam Perkasa Consortium in an interview with The Edge. And we discussed the pros and cons of what they disclosed to us. And then we were informed by a big announcement by the minister that the other party has gotten it, DreamEDGE, and that they will be technologically backed by Daihatsu. Right? So, as to the question, it's where do we start really? Because the details aren't forthcoming, as you said. What we know is that the DreamEDGE CEO and co-founder, Khairul Adri, has said that they are likely going to go for a C-segment sedan.
Yep.
That they will probably need a few hundred million, and that Daihatsu will be the technological partner, right?
Right.
So that's pretty much the entire detail that we have on hand right now. So how they're going to make it, what the design will be like, whether it's a full-fledged EV or hybrid, those details are still being finalized. And I guess right now we're still waiting to see. But what we have found out and published in the latest edition is that there has been contact between DreamEDGE and the Perodua people, the second national car, to possibly bring Perodua on board in terms of helping drive this project forward.
Right. As in contract assembler.
That's one of the possibilities being floated, because Perodua does have surplus assembly manufacturing capacity in its plants. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is that Perodua could help design or provide input in the design process, although then we run into possible IP rights in terms of components, component designs and whatnot. So there's a lot of moving parts here, pardon the pun. But so far contact has been made, and we will have to see whether it comes to anything concrete.
But right now, I mean, there's nothing concrete yet. But Perodua being the number one national brand, it's already really big. It's that successful here. What can they gain from being part of this third national car project?
Well, I cannot speak for Perodua, of course, but looking from the outside, right, you're the dominant player in the market. There's a new player coming onto the market.
Okay.
It would possibly be favorable to think that you might have one foot into the new player rather than just going head to head against them in the market, right? So on one hand, it's good, possibly, to have an influence and have a say into how the other party is going. Because if you're going to assemble cars for the third national car, presumably you'll be wise enough to put in some clauses that prevent you guys from going to the same segment, competition and whatnot, because then it'll be conflict to shareholders if you don't, right? So that's one positive. So, and again, I think last year Perodua made about almost 250,000 cars. They have capacity for up to 320,000.
Yeah.
So there is some surplus in terms of capacity, and if you can bring in volume from another car maker for yourself, why not, right?
But then really, with Perodua on board, positive, negative?
That depends who you're asking. For Perodua, possibly if they get the terms right. For Daihatsu, could be a win-win because Daihatsu has been Perodua's long-standing partner. For DreamEDGE, we'll see. So a lot of it is still moving at this point, and I guess we are just waiting to see the details if anything comes out of that engagement.
Speaking of details, they're still very vague. There's a lot of things we don't know about the project, but for DreamEDGE, what will be its main hurdle, you think?
Oh, that's a meta question in itself. What do you need to kickstart a national car project, right? Probably you need money, you need expertise. So I guess for DreamEDGE, they have a technological partner in Daihatsu.
Yeah.
And if they can make that work, it comes back to how do you fund this project. So
which they
money
said,
is a problem.
Cost about hundreds of millions.
Yes, the CEO has said that they'll probably need to raise a few hundred million ringgit to kickstart the project, right? So How they raise that will be an interesting question because DreamEDGE itself, the paid-up capital is less than 20 million ringgit.
Okay.
And even though they have a shareholder in MITE, the government agency, MITE's involvement will not extend to raising money, I presume at this point, going by the government's promise that no public funds will be involved.
Yeah.
So how can they come up with the funds? We'll have to wait and see.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of the Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.